Hello everyone and welcome to episode 8 of my Python tutorial series. Today we are going to learn how to make Python speak, and we are going to learn how to make it read text files. There are plenty of awesome new concepts to learn here today, so let's get coding. Okay, now by default, Python does have some capacity to read some types of files. Today we are just going to mess around with text files so we can go right into coding without installing any more libraries. So let's make a new file, and I will name mine read.py. And now before we go into coding the file, let's make our text file. Now the goal of this project is to make a text file that our Python code can read and then output to us. So of course, let's just create a new text document. And now instead of renaming it to py, I'll just name it read.text. And you can name this file whatever you want. Just remember what it's called because we're going to need the name later. Now let's open it up by double clicking. And now that we're in the file, let's just type a few sentences. I'm going to say, hello world. Today, I spun my keychain around so fast that it turned into a supernova. That should be enough text for us to mess with. Okay, now that we have some text to read, let's go into our file. So here, we first need to open the file. And in order to open the file, we need to type some special code. So watch. I'm going to type with open, and this will tell it to open a file, and now parentheses. And we need to put in this function a few important pieces of information. The first thing I need to add is, of course, the name of the file. Now, we named our file read.txt. So I'm going to type in quotation marks, read.txt. And now we are going to add a comma because we need to add one more crucial bit of information to this. And that is, in quotation marks, type R. And this tells the code that we are not writing to the file, we are reading the file, because we want to get information from it. We're not modifying the text file, we're getting information from it. Okay, now that we've opened the file, we need to set the file to a variable. So I'm going to say, with open read.txt R as, and now I can type in any variable name I want. I'm going to name mine read file. And so all this does is make it to where this variable that we just made will be set to the text file, so we can now modify it just like we do other code. So now let's hit enter and make sure you're tabbed in. Let's just try to print the entire text file right now. I'm going to type print, and then in parentheses. It might seem intuitive that you just need to type read file or whatever you called yours. However, if we try to run this, you'll see that we got a whole bunch of weird stuff. This is not our text file. What the heck happened? Well, what happened is we printed the file object. We didn't print the file text. So in order to print the text, we need to do read file dot read and then parentheses. Okay, so now it will take the file and read the text from it. Now let's try. And look at that. It prints all of our text from before. So this is working perfectly. We've already learned how to read text files. However, what if we wanted to read just a little bit of the text file, not the entire thing? Well, all we would need to do is type in how many characters of the text file we want to read. So for example, I can say read file dot read, and let's read only the first 10 characters. And now watch what happens when I run it. Now it will just print the first 10 characters in the file. Now importantly, if I run this again, it's not going to print the same stuff. What's going to happen is the file is going to read the text file, it's going to print 10, and when it prints 10 characters, it's going to remove that from our variable file. So let's change that to 20. If I hit 20, then it will print the first 20 characters. See that? And I can keep on increasing it to print the parts that I want. See that? That's very cool. And just to show you what would happen if we use multiple lines, if I take this and I make a second line and run it, then it will print the first part and then it will print the second part. Remember, we have a read file variable now. When we read part of the text with the read function, it will remove the text that it read from the read file. So it will only have the text that hasn't been read yet. So when we do this, it will read the first 10 characters, and then it will remove that from the variable. And then after that, it will read the next 10 characters, and then remove that from the variable. So the first print will print characters 1 through 10. The second print will print the characters 11 through 20. And then if I do this again, it should print the characters 21 through 30. So this is working exactly as intended. Hopefully this made sense to you. This is extremely powerful, as you can probably tell. And now we are going to use this with text-to-speech to make us read text from a file. However, before we do that, we need to learn how to make Python talk. So in order to read a file, all we needed to do was program Python with the built-in library. But to make Python speak, we need to install a new library. So let's open up the command prompt and type, just like before, pip install. And now the package we are going to download is pytttsx3. That is Python text-to-speech version 3. So hit enter. And now that we've installed it, let's get to coding. So let's make a new file, of course, and I will name mine speak.py. And now there are a few steps we need to do to make Python speak. The first one, you should know, whenever we are using a package, what do? We have to import it. So I will type import pytttsx3. Now that we've imported it, we can now use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a variable. This variable name actually matters, so name it the same way as me. I'm going to name it engine equals pytttsx3 dot init, and then parentheses. Now what this does is it makes a variable called engine, and engine is going to equal our text-to-speech engine. So basically what we did is we just made a mouth called engine. Now we can tell the mouth what to say. So for example, I can say engine dot say, and then in here I can type hello world, and now we've made an engine and we've told it what to say. Now if we hit run, nothing happens. And the reason why is we told the engine what to say, but we never told it to start talking. So what we need to do with that is after we tell it what to say, we then do engine dot run capital A and capital W wait, and then in parentheses. Now when I run it,
hello world,
you hear that it talked, and that's awesome. Now just to be clear, what we did is we imported pytttsx3, we then made an engine, so basically we gave it a mouth. We then told the mouth what to say, and then we said, speak, and it said what we told it to say. So this is all great. Now if we wanted to, we can type some different words in here. We can say, I love porcupines. And now when I hit run,
I love porcupines.
see that? It says whatever we want it to. Now, there's a bit of a bug or just a misprogramming for pytttsx3 right now. It might be fixed by the time you watch this video, but at least for now, if you try to do something where, like, okay, we made it say something once, but if I say engine.say and pineapples too, if I tell it what to say, and then tell it to speak, and then tell it what to say again, and then tell it what to speak again, then this is not going to work. If I hit run,
I love porcupines.
it never says the second thing. And for whatever reason, that's just how pytttsx3 works right now. In order to get around this, all you need to do is make sure after you say something, say delete the engine. So now we've deleted this variable. Now all we need to do is make the variable again. And when we make the variable again, now we have a new engine. So basically think about it like this. Every engine is just a one-time use. After you use it, delete it, and then make a new one. That generally tends to fix this issue. So now we know how to make Python talk, but let's do one more project with it just to really nail down this new information. So I'm going to get rid of all this code and start again. And of course, we need to import pytttsx3. And now let's make an app where you can just type in whatever you want and the computer will say it. So let's first make a variable. So I will name it speak this. You can name it whatever you want, of course. And now I will say equals input, enter something I should say. And now that we have a variable set, all we need to do is what we did before. So first, of course, we need to make an engine equals pytttsx3 dot init. So we just made an engine. Now we need it to say something. So we'll say engine dot say. And now in here, let's make it say the variable we just made. So I will say speak this. So now the engine will say the variable we just made. And now we just need to run the engine. So engine.run and wait. And now let's try this. If I hit run, it says enter something I should say. So I will type I love ice cream.
I love ice cream.
And it says it. Perfect. But of course it only works once. So let's make it work multiple times. Now I'm going to show you how to make it work multiple times. But before we do, I'm going to let you try on your own. So try putting this in a while true loop and see if you can figure out how to make this work. Go try it out and come back in just a second. Okay, welcome back. Now the first step to improving our code is obviously to put everything in a while true loop. So let's go over here and type while true. And now to put all this in a while true loop, of course, we need to tab everything in. So you can either go to the beginning of every line and hit tab, or you can select it all and tab it in like that. Now everything is indented. Now if we run this code right now, it will work once. Watch. I will say potato.
Potato.
It'll say that, but now I want it to say pear, and it's not working. See that? And remember, the reason why is because every engine is a one-time use. It only works once. So after we make it run and initialize, and we tell it what to say, and then we tell it to speak, we need to delete the engine. Now that we've deleted the engine, when the code runs again, it will make a brand new engine, and that brand new engine will say something. So now if I run it, and I make it say part 1.
Part 1.
And it says it, and now if I make it say part 2.
Part 2.
Perfect. It works twice. So now this can work as
SDF.
many times as we want.
A.
So this is pretty awesome. We can now make our Python code say stuff, which is super cool. Okay, we have now finished every project but one for today. And this final project is going to teach us how to combine the two new concepts, that being speaking and reading from files. So let's make a new file, and I will name mine read and speak.py. Okay, so our goal for this project is to make it where the code will read a file and then say the stuff on the file. So the first thing we need to do, of course, is import our speech engine. So let's import py TTS x3. And then let's say with open. And now let's just open the same file that we did before. Importantly, watch this. Whatever file we are opening has to be in the same folder. So if I make a new folder and then put my read and speak in the new folder, then it is not going to work. It needs to be in the same directory as the text file. There are easy ways to get around that, but for now, let's just keep everything in the same folder. So now that we have that addressed, let's read the file. So I will say read.txt, because that is the name of the file. And then let's tell it we want to read from the file, not write. And then let's set it as a variable. So I'll say as read file. So this will be our variable. That will be the file. And now let's set a variable to the text. Because remember, we can't just say print read file. We have to tell it to read the read file. So let's make a variable that our text-to-speech engine can handle. So I'm going to say text. This is going to be a new variable called text. And it will say read file dot read. Now this variable text will equal all of the text in the read file. So now we have a variable that we can send to our text-to-speech engine. So now outside of reading the file, so not tabbed in, let's do engine equals py ttsx3 dot init, just like before. So we made an engine. And now let's say engine dot say. And now in parentheses, let's type the name of our variable, which is text, and then let's tell it to speak. So engine.run and wait. Let's try this out. When I run,
Hello world. Today, I spun my keychain around so fast that it turned into a supernova.
look at that. We were able to read from the file that we made. And in fact, let's just make it a little more user-friendly. Let's say print text. And now when we run it, it will say the text in the terminal as well. So this is great quality of life. Now today's projects have been a little faster than others, but that is because we are building up to one of our big projects for this series, and that is to make a file reading engine that is going to be incredibly useful. I personally coded one of these during college, and I used it in many classes. Hopefully you will find this useful as well. But in order to do that, we needed to learn a few concepts about reading from files and how to make a text-to-speech engine. The next lesson, we are going to make a super version of this. It's going to be incredible. But for now, good job on learning all of these new concepts. Hopefully you've understood it, and feel free to mess around with it, try to tinker it and modify it. But I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, farewell.